I am aware that this video is out a little later than it should have been, but I wanted to spice things up this time around when talking about the fact that I have now been on YouTube for 3 years. It's crazy to think about, honestly. I know that seems like nothing compared to later milestones like 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, maybe even 20 years, who knows, but yeah, normally in previous years I've shown my face on my phone just saying, well, it's another year, but I wanted to do something more interesting. And also to show you a bit more of my editing skills, since I have improved a lot since I started YouTube. There is a lot to talk about, so I'll get into some things that I wanted to talk about in this video, besides saying that the channel is 3 years old as of May 15th. Let's start with my bigger scale projects to talk about. I am aware that, yeah, the first one I'm working on, and will eventually get around to uploading, is the Skylanders video. There is a lot of gaming news that just so happened to come out within the coming months and whatnot. However, I do still want to get around to, actually progressing the project a lot more instead of either procrastinating or having other news get in the way. But yeah, Skylanders means a lot to me. I grew up with it, so I thought, well, I'll eventually make this big scale video talking about my passion for it, as well as how it sadly died out in 2016. I'm hoping Microsoft and Toys for Bob, well, not Microsoft, sorry, Activision and Toys for Bob get back together again. Maybe Vicarious Visions if they wanted to. And they're like, yeah, let's make a new game. But that, I was getting a bit sidetracked there. I'm looking forward to making the Monstrum video eventually as well. That's one of the options that you could have voted for, which didn't win. But like I said in the vote ages ago, just because it didn't win doesn't mean I won't do it. I will. It's just what you wanted to prioritise first, and Skylanders was the winner, so yeah. And the title of that video, Monstrum Deserves Better, I still stand by it. It did deserve better. But you're going to have to find out when I eventually get the video out, or if any Monstrum news just so happens to come out, as to what happened to the IP and why it's been dormant for quite a while now. But yeah, Monstrum's a gem. I recommend you play it. It's by Team Junkfish. It's great. It's a bit tricky to start with, but I recommend it a lot. I absolutely adore that game. And of course, another big video project which I'll eventually get around to doing, but will definitely be a lot easier to manage and to avoid procrastination with, because it's one of my favourite games, and if you've seen the channel profile, you already know where this is going. I have wanted to make a really big video, talking about why I love Splatoon so damn much, and why it's my favourite Nintendo IP. I have so much I could say about it, but I don't want to waste time here, because obviously, well, that's what the video is for, to tell you all about it. But yeah, I love this game franchise so much. I really hope going into the Switch 2 era, Nintendo doesn't butcher it. They were doing so well. It would really suck if they fell flat by the 4th entry. That would break my heart, but that's not very likely, because, I mean, they put a lot of attention to detail in the games. And the game franchise is more mature than you think it is. If you really look for it, and really look for information both in the games and outside the games, you'll realise, hold up, this is more mature than I thought. This game was rated 7, or whatever it is in your country. This feels more like a 12 to 16 rated game. But I digress. That's a passion project I will want to do eventually as well. But yeah. Next we'll talk about some Let's Play related stuff, because I've kind of taken a break from that a bit. I am aware that with Pokemon Violet I technically still have one more story to do, and that's the bonus one that they did in a free update, where you have the original crew back, and it's something about a berry? Like a Petra Berry. Okay, sure. I have still avoided spoilers, but yeah, I'll get around to that as well. I'm looking forward to Mario Kart World. As much as Nintendo, I've already said this in a lot of videos, but that's because it's very important to point out, hasn't done the best with some elements of marketing. I am still excited for Mario Kart World. I'm interested as well to see how the system will work in general. I think the specs sheet came out recently, where it tells you like the hardware and software and stuff that it has, and as much as most people who are used to playing on like PCs and stuff are like, okay, big deal, they made it to like this year. For Nintendo fans like me, it's a pretty big deal actually. The last time we had a big graphical jump was the Wii U in 2012, which, Jesus Christ, I always feel old when I look back at those consoles. Especially the Wii U and like 3DS era. That's when I was really starting to appreciate gaming as an art form and, you know, things like that. Mario Kart World is especially an exciting announcement because I grew up with Mario Kart. I've probably mentioned it in other videos before, but I grew up with it. Mario Kart DS, I like that game. The drifting was very clunky, but that's probably because the D-pad was incredibly awkward to use for moments like that. So I just never drifted, and it probably ended up falling off the course a load of times. Mario Kart Wii was when I really started to like get good at the games. Mario Kart Wii, there's something about it. I don't know if it's just my nostalgia talking here, but there's something about the character roster, the course selections, the UI, all of that, that really just makes it all the more special to me. But yeah, Mario Kart 8 was also very exciting at the time. Yeah, this was before the deluxe port came out on Switch. I was one of the OGs that played the original Wii U version. Yeah, the battle mode sucked. It was just, let's plop you on a race course and see how you go from there. For some reason, I really liked to pick Iggy of the Koopalings. Please don't ask me why. I still don't know to this day. But yeah, something about him I just liked. But anyways, course correcting back to the main topic of this video. I've always wanted to be a YouTuber when I was a kid. I mean, thank God I didn't, because back then Nintendo was super strict. You either signed up to the terrible partner program where you basically had to praise Nintendo 24/7 because instead of YouTube seeing your video, they were the ones that saw it, or you treated them like Voldemort and never spoke their name. So yeah, I'm glad I didn't become a YouTuber back then, but yeah, Nintendo's more chill now, as you can tell. Yeah, I'd watch lots of YouTubers, lots of Let's Players. You can insert the ones that you grew up with in the comments section, and it'll roughly be the same kind of experience with me. But yeah, I just thought it'd be a cool little thing to do, and well, because of how different it was back then, at school, you know, when people say, or like teachers more specifically say, what do you want to be when you grow up? You know, most kids might say, you know, astronaut, engineer, or whatever. I said YouTuber. And of course, you can imagine the adults then were like, no, silly, that's not a real thing to do. How ironic. But, yeah, it was always in the back of my mind, being a YouTuber. Which, as of 2022 and onwards, I am living the dream, I guess you can say. Now, I guess the question's going to pop up eventually. You guys are like, what was the motive besides because you wanted to as a kid as to why you wanted to make this channel? No, it's not to be famous. Being famous isn't everything, as much as, you know, the forbidden site that is TikTok would make you believe. I made this channel to share my passions as well as, you know, to partake in video game preservation, because it's more important now than it has ever been, especially with companies, you know, getting more and more scummy with how they sell their games. Like, here's some new news. Sony's now doing the game keycard thing with their discs. But here's where I like to briefly apologise to Nintendo, because at least they were being honest about it, instead on their case if it was a game keycard version. Sony straight up lied, because Doom the Dark Ages came out recently, and I believe people boycotted it, not because it's a bad game, no, I've heard it's great, because of the business practice. So yeah, that sucks. That really sucks, but yeah, anyways, back to my motives for the channel. I also wanted to make this channel as a time capsule for me, really. So when I no longer exist on this planet, people will remember. Maybe not fondly, because let's not form parasocial relationships, people. That's very dangerous. We can't be doing that. Because YouTube's just fun. It's like, it's very different from most ways to get famous, like making music, or, you know, making a TV show or a film. There's a lot more like restrictions and things like that, whilst on YouTube it's a wild west. I'd argue it still is a wild west to this day when it comes to making content for people to watch for their entertainment. But yeah, I have my childhood dream, living that out, and just enjoying gaming as a whole, because it's always been my passion. I've been playing video games since I was 7 years old. My magnum opus, one of the games I started with when I actually had consciousness and could remember things and whatnot, come on, it was Super Mario Galaxy for the Wii. And honestly, one of the best decisions of my life, well, I guess my parents' rather decision. I made a video essay a long time ago now about why it's nostalgic to me. There are some things I would have done differently now that I have the knowledge, but I'm gonna leave it as it is, because there is one phrase I go by: if you don't acknowledge the past, you'll be doomed to repeat it. So, as much as I could just remake it, I'm not gonna, because it's a reminder of how far I've come with my YouTube channel and how much better I've gotten at editing and, you know, experimenting with more things to use to make the viewing experience a lot better. So yeah, from the bottom of my heart, I thank those who have subscribed to my channel. Whether you were there from the start when the channel was born, or you've only joined recently, regardless, I thank you. I thank you for watching my silly little channel where I talk about funny Squid Game and all sorts of other stuff that most people probably wouldn't care about, or at least not to the degree that I do and you guys do. So yeah, just wanted to acknowledge the anniversary a little differently this year. I might do this format for the other years, but yeah, I know some of the information in this video was probably used in the previous anniversaries, and you guys will go, you said that last year, and I'd be like, yeah, because it really does mean something to me. But yeah, I guess I should talk about some memories to close the video off that I've had when it comes to what I've done on my channel and what I've enjoyed. Obviously, we gotta say it, the launch of Splatoon 3, come on now guys. I have the whole story mode let's play as well as all the updates and stuff on their own playlist. Should you want to watch through it and be nostalgic for how I used to edit videos, which is not at all because I didn't know how to cut clips out back then. So yeah, again, not remaking those, because if you acknowledge the past, you'll be doomed to repeat it. The only let's play I say I would have remastered was the Cuphead DLC, some of it, but that was necessary because there was frozen footage, so I had to go back and fix that. But yeah, Splatoon 3, I was hyped for. I was annoyed that it got delayed to September at the time, but honestly I'm thankful now that it did, and I'm hoping Splatoon 4 comes out in 2026, maybe 2027. Pikmin 4, I really enjoyed playing through that. I know it took me bloody forever to finish the Let's Play. For a while it seemed dormant. I'm sorry for you guys, but done it now. I'm really thankful I took the 100% route, because that's kind of what you do with Pikmin. It's a real-time strategy game, so you kind of have to try and do everything as much as you can. Oatchi was a cute boy, Moss was a cute girl, Nintendo knew exactly what they were doing, adding cute space dogs to their game. The character customization being a first in the franchise, I applaud, and I hope they continue ahead with this for future entries. There was a lot of references to the previous games too, which that's nice considering we were waiting 10 years for Pikmin 4 to come out pretty much. Remember the famous article where Miyamoto said Pikmin 4 is almost done, and we all know how that turned out. So yeah, I'm glad I gave Pikmin a chance during the dark ages that was the Wii U. With Pikmin 3, that's how I got into Pikmin. And yeah, I like that IP. That was the last IP they made before Splatoon, which Pikmin was made in 2001, I believe, which is a very long time ago now, or at least it feels like a very long time ago. Pokemon Violet, as much as Scarlet and Violet, we all clown on it, and rightfully so, because of how poorly optimized it was, and the fact you needed a day one patch to make it function, which that's a whole other can of worms, day one patches. But I liked the concept of an open world Pokemon game. I liked that you actually bonded with the legendary Pokemon, which was on the box art. In all the other games, it's just kind of, let's play through this story, they'll show up eventually. No, they showed up right from the start, and you do bond with them, which I think they should do that more of. If you want your consumers to get attached to your legendaries that you put on the box, make it so you bond with them. I think that's a good way to do it. The characters were good. Nemona, Arvin, and some parts of Penny I quite liked. As usual, the soundtrack was an absolute banger. That's one thing about Pokemon games. They may not be in a complete state, but you can always rely on a good soundtrack from them. I mentioned earlier in the video the Cuphead DLC. We've got to talk about that. Now, at the time, we waited quite a while for it because it was originally going to come out in 2019, but if you know what happened. But yeah, after a little bit longer of waiting, we finally got it. I was so excited to play it. After seeing them advertise the new playable character, Miss Chalice, I knew I had to play it. And I liked Cuphead anyway as well. I like how unique it is. It's hand-drawn or digitally drawn, but it still is very impressive. It looks hand-drawn. It's a boss rush gauntlet with a couple of little levels to get coins to, help you get more power-ups. It was more Cuphead, but, more amazing music, more creative boss fights, and difficult boss fights. That's one thing about Cuphead. It is not an easy game. And the story. I liked the story a lot. I definitely didn't trust Chef Saltbaker. As soon as I finished getting all the stuff he needed, and obviously in the video you saw he wasn't in his store all jolly as he usually is, I knew something was up with him. That boss fight was fantastic. The soundtrack was good. The animations were good. And yeah, it was tricky. It was. And I just liked the whole aesthetic of Cuphead in general. So getting more of it was right up my alley, honestly. Also, got to give a shout out to Fortnite. Really unique shooter. I do understand that it was very different in its early days compared to now. And there is a lot more to do now. Like, there's new mechanics, there's obviously creative, which is a whole rabbit hole of its own. But I'd still say it's a very unique shooter, right next to Splatoon and Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare, which I'll briefly mention. Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare has gotten quite popular in recent times, which I'm quite happy about because I kinda grew up with Garden Warfare 2, kinda. And I did enjoy what I did play, so imagine that their little Sweet 16 announcement is Garden Warfare 3, but that sounds a bit like a cope. Plants vs Zombies hasn't been doing so good in more recent years, so yeah, I think that's like a whole 2-hour video or something talking about its downfall, which I recommend you watch. I also have to say that I really enjoyed The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. For context, I got into The Legend of Zelda through Breath of the Wild, Christmas 2020. Yes, I was quite late to the party, but there is the phrase better late than never. And I just fell in love with the franchise from there. Played through the story, did some side quests, messed around, which is what the game encourages you to do. I really enjoyed it. So, once I played through that, and Tears of the Kingdom got its title announced, I was riding the hype with everyone else. I was like, I get it. I finally get it. I get Zelda now. So, yeah, I played through Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity as well. Keep in mind, this was a little before my YouTube days begun, so back when I used to cruise through games like it was no one's business, which my channel has taught me, slow it down, man. Slow it down. Just take it in a bit more. And also, because your fans want to hear your funny reactions, which I also have a separate playlist for reactions to gaming events, trailers, stuff like that. So I know for most of them I don't really seem to emote that much. I do apologise. I am mostly restraining myself, combined with the fact that I don't always show the same level of excitement on the outside as I do on the inside, but I digress. Anyways, Tears of the Kingdom. I loved it. I liked the story. I liked it a lot. I liked that once again Zelda got quite a focus as well when she went to the past. I liked the Zonai. They were a cool race. I said in the Let's Play at some point that Rauru and Minoru looked like Undertale characters. I still stand by that opinion. I liked the whole Secret Stones. That was cool. You know, to amplify their powers instead of just giving it to them. Like that a lot. I liked that the descendants of the champions, Sidon, Riju, Yunobo, and Tulin, got their chance to shine in a arguably bigger role than the champions ever did. And they're getting amiibo soon, which is pretty cool. I was worried they wouldn't get amiibo. The voice acting once again was really good. Breath of the Wild introduced voice acting to the characters, and I think they did a really good job. Ganondorf, the great return of Ganondorf since Twilight Princess, I'm pretty sure. And everyone was hype, myself included. I was on Ganondorf's team for the Zelda Splatfest, and we sweeped. So, yeah, that told you everything, that everybody missed Ganondorf. His voice actor did a great job. The final boss fight was especially fantastic. The ending sequence to that game was having all your friends come down to help you, and you know, Ganondorf turning into a super cool and freaky dragon. Like, they just went all out. They just went, you know what, let's go crazy. Let's go crazy with the end game. So yeah, Tears of the Kingdom, great. For some reason most people hate it now. Like, I don't get why, but okay. I mean, opinions are opinions. If you don't like it, that's fine. Personally, I really like it. There's also Princess Peach Showtime, which was a game that I played through on the channel and I really enjoyed as someone who played Super Princess Peach growing up. I liked the idea and concept for that game, although I will say it is a very easy game. Like, almost kind of insultingly easy. I mean, there is an option you can talk to an NPC and they're like, ooh, are you having a tough time? Here's this heart charm where it gives you more hearts, and to be honest, you already have enough, so I wouldn't recommend it unless you're like, you don't play video games, or you know, if you have a little one that's like really struggling with it. But yeah, despite Princess Peach Showtime being aimed at a much younger audience, and Nintendo games are already aimed at mostly a pretty young audience in families, I still had a great time with it. I mean, more Peach in more outfits where people can make hopefully appropriate fan art. Sign me up. I thought Stella was cute. I liked Madame Grape's character design. I know her motive wasn't that crazy, but then again, they made it very clear that this game is pretty simple, and you know, the characters are kind of cheesy, but it's a stage play, so it's like, you can kind of let them off with that. So yeah, the boss fights were pretty easy too. I mean, it's a Nintendo game, or more specifically, a Mario franchise game. You don't really expect the bosses to be that difficult. So, yeah, that was a fun game to play. I really liked it a lot, and I do recommend it for someone who's getting into gaming for the first time. I think it's one of those games that isn't really that difficult, and you could have a fun time with, especially if you like Mario games and like Princess Peach. We've also got to say about Splatoon 3 Side Order. When that got announced in that one Nintendo Direct, when they were starting the expansion pass, and as far as I'm aware, are not doing anything else with it anymore, I was really excited. One thing I found really interesting between the early trailers compared to the final game that we got, it was clearly going to be just as dark as Splatoon 2's Octo expansion was. Don't get me wrong, with the final game there are some dark elements, like how Marina's trauma really affected the simulation, and how she wanted to do good to those who were affected by the Deep Sea Metro's experimentations and whatnot. And we learn more about Deadfish, DJ Deadfish, or Oct as she's called. She was cool. Not she, sorry, they were. Yeah, yeah, we kind of got a non-binary character. That's a thumbs up in my book. But anyway, the gameplay was great. I liked the concept of it being a roguelike, or a roguelite, roguelite actually, because yeah, you get permanent upgrades. Yeah, that was a great idea. That DLC turned me into a Pearl enjoyer, because well before my YouTube days, back in the Splatoon 2 era, I did not like Pearl. I think originally I didn't like her design much, and I didn't like that when I played through Octo expansion the first time all those years ago, I was like, oh, she stole the Splatoon 1 Killer Whale. That's why we don't have it as a special. I wish I could slap myself, go back in time, slap myself and go, what were you thinking? She was saving the legacy of that special. What do you want about? But anyway, Marina was cute as always, Yes, I am aware that Pearl and Marina are just friends. I know in the Let's Play I'm like, oh my god, lesbian moment. It's like, I know. I'm accepting it, okay? They're just close friends. That's probably how Japanese close friends are. And also, no, Marina and Deadfish were not dating for 10 years. They've been friends for 10 years. It's just that Deadfish wanted to say about her love for Marina, but never did because of how her Octarian life ended up. So yeah, I have the information now. I know now. You don't have to tell me in the comments section. But yeah, the ending was great for Side Order. I do agree with most people. The villain was kinda underutilized and could have been used a lot better to be just as scary as Tartar was. But it was funny seeing that it turned out to be a squid that speaks baby, or an octopus that speaks baby rather. I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty funny. But yeah, lots of wholesome interactions with Pearl, Marina and Oct, or Deadfish, however you prefer to call them. I really enjoyed it, and I do like that it is replayable. That is absolutely a thumbs up for me. And one last thing to mention before I actually finally close this video. Five Nights at Freddy's finally coming into Dead by Daylight. Come on, this had to be mentioned. I grew up with Five Nights at Freddy's. I just had to say it. It's a moment in the making. A moment in gaming history that so many people wanted for so long, and it's finally happening. I believe in June it comes out. June 2025, so that'll be exciting to see. There's a lot of horror games in general that I'm pretty excited to play. Tarsier Studios, the studios that used to own Little Nightmares before they gave the IP to Supermassive Games, they're working on Reanimal, which I'm really looking forward to. I like how dark it is. However, I hope it's not going to be too dark like Bramble and the Mountain King was, because if you've already saw the short video I made a while ago, I was going to upload part 3, looked back through the footage and felt kind of wrong, so I decided to abandon that Let's Play because it got a bit too dark. I know some of you might call me a baby or anything like that, but if you've seen what happens in that game from, I think it's chapter 3 onwards, I think you can understand why I decided to ditch that Let's Play, which I'm really sad about, but I did it for the better good. So, yeah. So, Reanimal, I'm hoping it's not too dark, but I still hope it does have some, like, powerful moments. Little Nightmares 3 as well. I love Little Nightmares. I just fell in love with it the moment I got introduced to it. I like the style, I like how it works, I like that it's pretty much dialogueless, and you know, it's show, don't tell. That's one of the things I really like about that game. And the soundtrack's good too, it's really good. I don't know when Little Nightmares 3 will come out. It was going to be 2024, I believe, but they delayed it to 2025, so I'm hoping they just, you know, take their time, and then we get a phenomenal game out of it. There's Subnautica 2. We're not going to see that for a while, especially for those who play on console, because it took forever for Subnautica 1 to come to consoles, as well as the kind of bonus episode like game Below Zero. So if we're to take the years those games came out, we're probably not going to see Subnautica 2 on consoles until 2027, 2028 kind of time. But I'll be keeping track. I'll be watching Let's Players play it. You bet I will. And I'll be able to relay the information as time goes on and we get closer to the final game's release. So I'll be looking forward to that. So with all of that said, all of this little celebration of 3 years on YouTube, all of that out of the way, thank you very much for watching this video and showing me that you're very much here to stay, you know, to make memories with me on what games I'm really looking forward to, how I'm an open-minded person now, and as much as some games may not be my cup of tea, I can understand why others would greatly be excited for them. So yeah, here's to 3 years, and may we have more, hopefully. Let me know your favourite memories about this channel, how much you feel I have improved over these years with editing and things like that. I will say, don't expect my upload schedule to be consistent, because it kind of isn't. The only time it was the most consistent was when I was finishing Pitman 4, but yeah, don't expect it to be too consistent, honestly. And I will see you in the next video. I appreciate everyone for supporting this channel.